Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Workman. I am the man of constant hatred. Welcome to Just Born Movies, the show where we take films straight out of the Hollywood womb and we dissect them for you. With me this week is Manny Classic.
What up?
Manny, what did we see this week?
We saw Bad Samaritan. Bad Samaritan is a movie that at its core is about these two valets who are small-time thieves. They pretty much steal from the homes of their valet cars that they take until they run into a supreme asshole driving a Maserati and decide to rob from him until you realize he's a serial killer.
Welcome to Nino's. That's a beautiful car, sir.
Yeah? Don't touch it.
Navigating home.
Oh, you beauty.
Yo, talk to me.
Black card.
Shut up, Doc, for real? Yeah.
Everything cool on your end, yeah?
They're just getting their salads now, man.
Just checking here.
Jesus Christ!
How do we like this film?
The premise is brilliant. I really like what is essentially bad guy versus bad guy films. Chess matches attempting to build out like a thriller, but this movie felt it felt forced. Never at any point did your heroes ever really have the upper hand in this scenario, so it always felt like they were playing from behind, which I get. They're technically the heroes of this film, but in doing so, they never felt equal. So the movie lacked a kind of anxious thriller vibe that it was going for.
Yeah, the cat and mouse tension is really undercut by Tennant, while menacing and fun in this film, just does things.
Yeah, so David Tennant is the serial killer in this film, while Robert Sheehan and Carlito... I want to say Carlito Espinosa? I'm probably getting his last name wrong. I know his first name is Carlito.
Olivero.
Carlito Oliveira. Sorry about that, Carlito. They play the two valets, and we went into this film. When we got to the theater, I was like, why are we watching this as opposed to Overboard? And Paul's like, well, David Tennant's pretty good in most of the dark roles he's in. He's real exceptional in Jessica Jones playing Purple Man, Kilgrave. So we figured his performance would, at worst, be able to hopefully buoy this film, kind of with, I don't want to say a cast of unknowns, but I feel like the typical audience doesn't really know who Robert Sheehan is.
I mean, like, there's going to be your audience that knows Robert Sheehan from Misfits.
Yeah.
He's wonderful on that show. And he's pretty good in this film, too.
Mm-hmm. And Carlito Oliveira typically plays background roles in other films, which, when we get into the film, I'm like, oh, that's, what's his name? Oh, yeah. But neither one of us could remember any film that he's in. But, like, he has a very distinct face. He's the slim Spanish guy, so he tends to end up, I don't want to say he ends up being gangbangers in most things, but he's that typical kind of Latino role that most unfortunate Latinos end up getting in Hollywood.
Right.
But yeah, they all of them put out serviceable performances. I think David Tennant's performance is a little bit better than theirs, but he's also carrying most of the weight of this film. He gets the most kind of backstory to his character.
Yeah, him and Robert Sheehan are definitely the two driving forces of the film. They're who you spend the most time with. They both get the most fleshed out characters. Oliveira's character has a pretty decent backstory, but you don't get too much of it to completely invest in him.
Yeah, I want to say, unfortunately, it gets kind of thrown in like one scene after the action starts unfolding.
Right.
So at this point, you're starting to build towards hoping this tension's going to go somewhere. They kind of just fold in his backstory as to why he's involved in this and why he can't be involved in this anymore. Yeah.
But yeah, the performances are pretty dependable. That's definitely not where this kind of lacks interest. I definitely say that Brandon Boyce's script is kind of the weak part of this film, where a lot of the dialogue's kind of stilted, and it, like you said, a lot of it feels forced, and he just kind of has things happen from time to time. David Tennant is supposed to be this kind of maniacal genius who's able to ruin people's lives, and as he goes about things, you don't really see him plan anything, and things just go on.
A lot of what should be tension in the film ends up just kind of coming off and just being like, well, I guess this is a thing that happened because there's no real explanation for why it happens. You get some moments where they kind of show you that David Tennant's able to be manipulative. He manages to send out this text to an entire group, an entire classroom's worth of students, but we never get the how he gets there and how he pretty much gets all these students' numbers. Mm-hmm. You don't honestly feel like he's a threat on some levels because it's just kind of so this is just happening. It almost feels like David Tennant's just a placeholder for Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
And then there's some decisions he makes throughout the movie that are just flat out stupid. Without getting too much into it, there's a scene where they're at a federal building and he's just kind of standing outside with a syringe full of drugs for like 5 minutes. Like, he's clearly out there for quite a bit of time, and none of these federal agents just see him.
He's just like menacingly holding this syringe full of green liquid, and he's like, ah.
Yeah, he's just standing there with just a handful of Hulk blood. It's so glowing too. Like, it's the middle of the day. Why does it glow so much?
I swear he was just like a fedora short of being just 40s villain.
Yeah, it's
trench coat standing in the shadows.
So
pretty great.
Robert Sheehan's character, they try to build some secondary plots to him, like besides this whole thing, you find out he's got like family drama because he hates his stepdad because his stepdad's a piece of shit. And you find out his stepdad's actually pretty much just a regular stepdad. Like, he made some decisions that are wrong, but he thought they were best for his family at the time.
He's got a girlfriend who you meet only for a couple of scenes in the entire movie, and it's one of those things to just kind of, I guess, try to give him more depth, but she works more as a plot point than as a character, because, like I said, you meet her in the first scene, so you feel like she's going to be real important to this, and then you maybe see her 2 other scenes, and then that's it. She's like I said, she's more of a prop to get him from one place to another without really actually doing any of the work.
I guess that's all the characters.
Yeah,
all the meaningful characters. You get like a best friend for the girlfriend who you meet in one of the scenes that she's in.
Yeah, her best friend gets 1-2 like moments, but not even like really fully fleshed out scenes.
Yeah, she has like 5 lines in the entire movie. I'd be shocked that it's so many. If there's any other, I guess, kind of plot point as character, it's the restaurant owner, Nino.
Nino's.
That owns the restaurant that they valet at. Like, you see him and he seems like a good guy. He's looking out for his customers. He's like, oh, maybe this is too much. Maybe this is not enough. And they're pretty much essentially swindling con men that are trying to get him to... But he eventually becomes a plot point throughout the movie.
Yeah.
That David Tennant kind of manipulates around and stuff like that, so...
And then, of course, Carrie Condon.
Yeah, Carrie Condon.
Playing Katie, who is the woman who David Tennant's got locked in his house.
Mm-hmm.
Who leads to probably the best jump scare of the movie. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm not really big on jump scares, but if you can do a really, really well-timed one, I appreciate them. And the first one that you get in this film involves her, and it's really good.
Yeah, it is, it's you know that the premise of this movie is she is in this scenario.
Yeah, I mean, you can go... I'm on IMDb right now, and there's pictures of her, like, locked up. So it's not a surprise.
Yeah. But the way that they introduce her as a part of this movie is the best jump scare in this film.
Yeah.
In a film that unfortunately has like 5 or 6 of them, and the rest of them just don't
They're
really
just-
hold up.
Yeah, some of them are really cheap, and some of them are just okay. I guess that happened.
Like, at least 2 of them that I could think of are I'm only considering jump scares because they decide as this person shows up to immediately ramp up the music and then cut it back down.
Yeah.
Just like the Psycho, like, but
Yeah.
like with a person there as well.
You just see so much negative space on the screen and nothing is happening. You're like, here comes the jump scare. Blah! Jump scare. Okay, we'll do that then.
Got it. I guess since we're talking about the whole jump scare kind of music flash thing, I don't know. I didn't really feel a lot of the music in this movie. It just kind of felt like stock movie sound clippings. That being said, there's only one original song,
Right.
So that might have been the problem.
There were a few moments where like a character's running or something, there's not talking on the screen, so like the music's the only thing really moving the the scene along. And to me, the music sounded like they were just trying to cop the music from Silence of the Lambs, which is a really good score. So
Yeah.
I guess you were going to steal from the best,
Yeah.
because that score's wonderful.
The cinematography, which we really didn't touch on, I don't think it was anything necessarily to write home about.
Yeah.
It had its moments like that jump scare using a lot of play with light and dark, which is how we get that jump scare. But for the most part, it just felt like a pretty average movie in terms of cinematography.
It's a real shame because your main character's supposed to be a photographer, a wanting to be photographer, so you're going to have a guy who talks about light and composition and not really do much with it yourself.
Yeah, like at the beginning of the film, you get like 150 photos just kind of laying around.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie was it looked okay. It looked serviceable. I'm not saying it looked bad.
It's fine.
It didn't do anything new or inventive for us to talk about. Like I said, music. I thought the music was average. All the actors played their part, and for the most part, I think did well. I think they're just kind of hampered by a less than stellar script. The premise, like I said, could be amazing and just kind of fell short. Based on our scale, I'm gonna have to say it's damn average.
I feel like you touched on just about everything. Good performances. The performances probably bring this film up from being just complete garbage. Like if it was pretty much anyone but Tennant and Sheehan, not pretty much anyone, but Tennant and Sheehan do such a good job that it's hard to think of anybody else as these roles now. Yeah, cinematography's okay. Music's forgettable. Directing is so-so. The script is really not good. But as much of a forgettable film as it's going to be, I'm probably going to forget about this film next week, which honestly kind of doesn't make it bad enough to be memorable. So, based on our scale, yeah, I'm going to go damn average. What did you think of Bad Samaritan? Did you see it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave a comment down below and let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And poke around on our channel. See some of our old stuff. We're working on some new stuff. We hope you enjoy it all. If you're feeling generous, stop by our Patreon and give us a little bit of a donation and see what we can do for you. That's at patreon.com/drinkingagemovies. Follow us on social media because we're there sometimes. And as always, have a damn fine day.
Turn the light diffuse and let you home.